And forgot to turn. Whoa! Oh no, that's dreadful. There we go. That should be better now. Okay. Always technical issues, always fun and games. But welcome to the Secret Sewing Club. Why do we do this to ourselves? Why? But Sunday, the 6th of July. Welcome to everybody. There's only 3 of us this week, but that is all good. We have Vicki from Parrs Rulers. So, hey, there we go. And we have John from I Quilt Studio. You're not speaking today? No, he's just waving. Okay, that's fine.
Sorry, I didn't know if I was turned on yet. Hello, everyone. Please forgive my mess of a studio. This is how I live.
No, this is how it all works. I mean, Vicky's got a lovely clean bit behind her, but I mean, literally, you turn this round a fraction and it's just chaos. But how is everybody?
Rethinking my life choices when I saw your spaces and then I saw mine. And the worst is I spent the whole of last week tidying my studio, but clearly didn't get to this bit.
Yeah, I spent all of yesterday tidying the shop, and it looks no different. All I've done is successfully move things around, I think. But never mind. So, what have you all got for us today? We'll start with you, Vicki. What are you showing us today?
So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about how to set the machine up, all ready to use rulers for free motion quilting. I've got some brilliant rulers to demonstrate, and I've also got our Parrs Pocket, which is our ruler storage solution, and that's a pattern, and I'll show you some bits and bobs from that.
Splendid. And Mr. John?
I knew Vicki was on, and I love her rulers, so of course I had to design a new quilt with Vicki's rulers in mind. And as you can see, you've got this incredible area on your quilt where you can actually go and use those rulers and have a play. And if you're really adventurous, you can go and have a play on the tiny squares. So I thought that was a good go.
Oh, I mean,
and then of course English paper piecing is an absolute favourite of mine, and I love Tulip Pink, but I also love Christmas. So we've got 4 or 5 different hits there. And if we've got time, I thought we could have a little FPP funky cushion have a go.
Oh, fill your boots, John. We've got a bit of extra time today because we've got 3 of us instead of 4. So absolutely, fill your boots. We've got lots of people coming on and saying hello. So we'll get cracking. Vicki, are you good to go first?
Yeah, I think I'm first. Yeah.
Right, it's over to you.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, everyone. First of all, I've just got to apologise for the headphones. It was the only way we could get the sound working, so I'm just going to have to look like this while I'm showing you what I'm doing. So the first thing I was going to do, I was just going to talk a little bit about setting your machine up, because we do get a lot of questions about how the setup works, and obviously there are lots of different machines, so I'm going to go through like the basic one that fits most machines. Your machine might be slightly different, but most of them fit this way of setting up the machine. So what I'll do, I've got the foot here, so you need our Parrs foot that fits perfectly with all our rulers. Just try and see our foot there. Okay, so as you can see here, it's a closed toe foot, and then it's got the hole there for where your needle goes through. And the one thing that's special about our feet is it's a hopping foot, so it does do the hopping. You can see the motion there. Okay, and you would fit this foot like you would any other foot. You would take your foot off that's on your machine, keep this little screw to one side, and then you would fit the foot on the machine, and just here is where the screw would fit back in. So it's just the one screw that comes with the machine, and it just fits on nice and easy. So this is a low shank foot that I've got here. We also have a high shank foot. And one of the main questions we get is my machine low shank or high shank? So if you don't know off the top of your head, you can find out either online, in your manual. We have a shank guide on our website, or if it's not on there, just contact us directly and we will find out and let you know. So once you've got your foot on, the way that we set the machine up is that we drop the feed dogs. If you don't have any feed dogs on your machine, then you would set the stitch length to 0 or your machine's lowest setting. Okay, and then while I've got this camera angle, we've then got the sew slip mat that we've got. So this non-slip mat will stop the feed dogs catching any fabric, and it also helps glide the material when you're trying to sew. Okay, and then what I tend to do is I set, if you've got this function on your machine, I would set the speed to a bit lower than what you would normally do, just so you can get used to how to use the rulers, the feel of the rulers when you're building your confidence. And then as you get a bit higher up with your confidence, you can put it to whatever speed that you like. And another thing that I do is I increase my tension a little bit. I've got mine now on a 6, but obviously you can just experiment with that and find which suits you the best. Okay, so once you've got your foot on and you've got it all set up, I'll just show you quickly. If you feel like the foot isn't quite in the right position for the fabric, you can do some adjustments yourself. So you'll only need to do this the first time that you fit your foot. Every time after that, it will be set up and you can just put it on and go straight away. So to do that, you use this back bar, which is this little bit at the top here. And what you would do is you would get some pliers, very gently apply pressure. So what you would do is that when you've got your foot down and the needle at the highest point, if you feel your fabric will not move underneath it easily enough, then what you would do is you get your pliers and you would move this back button down ever so slightly. If it's the opposite way round and you feel like it's too high and it's potentially coming out of the ruler of the channel when you're sewing, then you would get the same back bar and move it upwards a little bit. So it's dead easy to do, really quick, and like I said, you only have to do it one time, which will be the first time that you use it. Okay, so once that's all set up, you can move on to the fun bit, which is using your rulers. So today I have got a few rulers to show you. And the first one that I was going to do is called our graduated motif. See if I can get it so you can see it here. So it creates a beautiful coverall pattern here. And what you do, it's very clever, this one. You do you can do the lines of it, and then the negative space in the middle makes the same shape again. So it makes it look like all in one. And you can then, if you want to, experiment a little bit, and you can use the same ruler to do some different shapes. If you wanted some centerpieces, or if you wanted a big chunky border, you can do it in all different ways. So what I was going to do first is just demonstrate how you use this ruler. I would say this is probably one of our easiest rulers to do, and it can cover a large area if you're doing a larger quilt, or you can do it in little smaller areas in the quilt like John's got a bit later on. So this is what the ruler looks like. Yeah, get that in for you. So as you can see, it's just one long channel, and when we're sewing, the aim is to get nicely into each corner for the shape. And also, like you can see on this angle, turn it the other way around, you can see these lines here. Now these are what are called our scroll lines. So when I say scroll lines, these are what I'm talking about, these lines here. So what you do is, when you've done this first side, I'll show you in a second to demonstrate, you would put what you've just sewn underneath that line, and then when you do the second shape, it will match up perfectly every time, which is what we're after with the rulers. Okay, so I'll just show you first of all what to do. Just quick, like I said, you can go on. I'm just going to do a small-ish pattern with this, but you could go on and continue with long lines or anything like that. So I've put my foot down and I've put my needle down, and then the shape of the ruler, I put my hands on. I want light pressure on the ruler and light pressure on the material. That's all you need, a light touch. It doesn't need to be really severe. Okay, and then you just set off and you just make sure that you get nicely into the shape of the ruler. Snuggle nicely into all the corners to get that lovely shape. Okay, so I've done one length of the channel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slide the ruler back to the beginning. And I'm going to do that half section again, and it'll all become clear once I've done this. So the exact same thing, all the way down. Okay, and then when I get to the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing again. Stop with your needle down. The reason why we need our needle down is because then that fixes our material in place, and it just means now that you can just move the ruler in any direction that you want to. So in this case, we want to go back up this side and complete the pattern that we've just started. So we just put the ruler all the way round, spin it round, and then this is where the scroll lines come in. So what I've just done, I'm going to put underneath that line that I showed you before. So I know that my pattern is going to match up. So I just do the exact same thing again, back up the other side. Because I'm using the scroll lines, it's going to meet lovely in the middle. Again, stop with the foot down and the needle down. You'll get used to me saying that after a while. Move the ruler again, and as you can see, if you wanted to go in a different direction, you don't have to sew straight up, straight down. If my project had the material going off this way, I could sew it that way. You could sew at any angle that you like because it's fixed in place by that needle. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same thing again, back up to the top. So I could do as many of these as I wanted to, but I'm just doing the 2 just to show you. Okay, take that off. And that's just done 2 beautiful patterns, and then you could continue and do another line down this side. I'll just show you quickly, and then I'll show you what it means about it doing the negative space. So I'll just do the exact same thing again really quickly. I'll just do one side just so nice. And if you are sewing and you're getting towards the edge of your material, you can hold the ruler in a different way. You can even put your finger in the channel for the section that you're not using, however you feel comfortable doing it, just as long as you feel in control of the ruler. So I'm going to go all the way around. Okay, so I've just done another side of that again. You'll be able to see what I was talking about, in that I've done this side and I've done this side, but the negative space made that extra shape. So it gives that beautiful effect that we're after if we wanted to do a nice big coverall. Okay, and another thing about these rulers, you'll probably hear me say a lot of the time, they're not just one pattern and that's it. You can do multiple patterns with these rulers. So I'll just show you quickly. I'll use this one that I've just done. And what you can do is I've moved the shoulder here of it in using the central crosshairs. So I'm going to put the central crosshair on that shoulder of that one that we just did before. And then, if I've got enough room, I think I can just squeeze it on. Just do the exact same thing. But instead of doing 2 sides in a row, all down one side, I'm just going to do a complete pattern in one go. So I'll spin it round. I will put my scroll lines on to line everything up. And then I'll carry on, and it will all match up beautifully. So if you want to add a bit more detail, make a bit more detailed pattern, or just scatter this around a coverall pattern just to give it that extra bit of look to it. Okay, so I've just done
Vicki, I've got a very quick question from Jeanette. She was wondering, she has a lot of the rulers. Can she use them in the quilting frame?
So with the rulers, as long as you are moving, you have to be able to move the material. So it depends what you've got. Some of the frames, the material's fixed, and it's the needle and that's moving round. So you've got to be able to move the material. That's the key to it. So you can get your free motion that you're after. So it depends what type she's got. But if she wants to give me a specific type, she'll have to email me or get in touch, and I can have a look and,
okay.
And let her know for definite.
No problem. If she comes back on the Facebook comments, I'll let you know.
Yeah. Super. Okay, so I've just finished off that extra bit of detail there, so you can see it here. So this is our, like I said, graduated motif, and it's really simple. We also do one that's slightly smaller pattern as well, if it was too big for your project. But if you just see how much coverage I've got there in what, just a few minutes. So if you've got a really big project, I must say, because you are moving the ruler around, you can fold your project up and just do it on this section of material. So it's easy to do with that size, because you can just do the folds, do a bit at a time, do another fold and carry on. So that's our graduated motif ruler. So I've got one more ruler to show you in this section, and then I'll move on. I've got some more to show you in the next little bit. I'll put that down to one side. Just get some fresh material. Now this one is one of our most popular rulers, I think, because I was talking about all the scroll lines on the previous ruler. This ruler is a bit more free. If you don't like the idea of having, really set patterns, geometric patterns, if that's not your kind of thing, this is almost the complete opposite. So this is our coverall ruler, or our meander ruler, as I like to call it. So as you can see, it's got one long wiggly channel. So it just means you can meander wherever you want all over your material. So I'll just give you a quick demo of how that goes. It's exactly the same process as before. Start with your foot down and then just go around the pattern. So if you just emphasize all the little curves in it, and then it'll just elevate your pattern and make it beautiful. So with this one, you don't even have to do the whole pattern if you don't want to. You can do it to wherever you want. Stop with your foot down and your needle down, and then you can move your ruler round, and you can just keep going for as long as your section. Obviously, if you did want to stop and start, you could experiment with different thread colours and different things like that. But if you just wanted to get it done, it's a lot of fun. Sort of get into finding where the different patterns are, and it's one of their rulers where you could use it on several different projects, but it'd look different every time because you're doing the pattern just randomly, basically. So it's just however it comes out on the day. You can just sew to your heart's content, really. So I'll just show you what I've done. Okay, so yeah. It's back. Okay. Okay. Okay, fine. Well, I don't know where the sound went out, so I'll just do a little mini recap. I was just doing the coverall ruler, and I was just saying you can go any which way you want to. You can do the ruler in any angle that you want to, large sections, small sections, and every time you use that ruler, you'll come up with a different pattern because on the day you'll just do different things. So I was just showing you quickly what I've done here just now. again, very
Vicky,
quick
just
and easy.
while you're doing that,
Yeah.
I've got Liz
Yeah.
Hatzler. She said she bought one of these rulers last time you were on. Is there a secret to
Yeah.
getting the stitches a consistent length, or does it just take practice?
Okay, so because you're on free motion, the stitch length is down to the sewer. It's me that's controlling the stitch length, basically, because I'm moving the material. So that's why I said at the beginning, I always, especially if you're a beginner, I always have the speed, if you've got that on your machine, quite slow, because then you can get used to, if you have it nice and slow, you can get, because you've got to feed the material through the machine. You're in control of the speed and the settings. So if you have it on quite slow, you're not getting ahead of yourself. You can pace yourself nice and slow. Even though it might feel too slow at the beginning, you can see it gives you that control, and you can build that up and build that up, and you can keep it at the low setting, or you can then speed it up. But because you're in control of it, it's about you gliding it through. So that's why we have the slip mat to help you with that glide, so you can get that nice consistent stitch length. So yeah, so it's just practice, bit of practice. Just be aware that you're doing it, how fast you're moving the material and the ruler and everything, and then does not take long, and you'll be up to speed, no problem.
I've got a few more people with helping each other out in the comments here. Jeanette Chapman says she found it was the speed of the movement that changed it. So the more consistent you are with the speed you move it around, appears to be getting kind of better results. And she says it's great from practicing.
You're controlling it, so if you keep yourself consistent, then yeah, you're going to get.
And then Sue Peck says she's got about 15 of these and she loves them.
Oh wow. Brilliant. Okay, so that's the first two rulers for now. I've got another ruler to show you, and like I said, I've got our super Parrs pockets to show you. And then if we have time,
do you want to give us a quick flash of that ruler? Not demonstrate it, but just give us a quick flash, because John's just balancing on a chair.
Let me get the other ruler out.
You don't have to. I can show John balancing on a chair if you wish. It's fine.
Let me just move it to the other camera. So this is our Shirley special ruler, and I can show you what this makes. These are beautiful linked hearts, so if you can see that there, and you can do a chunky border with our linked hearts, and you can also go round the corner, and that's again all in one thread. So you can do that nicely from one side to the other side. So when I come back, I'll show you this one. I know it doesn't look like linked hearts, but I promise you it's nice and easy. So we'll go through that in a little while.
John has returned to his seat. We nearly had to cut back there, John, and all we could see was your bum hanging quilts.
Great thing is what happens behind the scenes no one ever sees. So you can see I don't look quite as messy as before.
Because you just hit.
Beautiful quilt
I mean, I will say that is one of the good things about quilting, is you can hide a multitude of sins by hanging a couple of quilts in the background.
But doesn't that look like stained glass now? I hadn't realised with the sun coming through it how beautiful it would look. It's
lovely. You've done a lovely job. So, do you want to go next? You've got 3 demos, so let's go. Are you ready?
Let's give it a go. Now, you're going to have to forgive me. I am doing my best with these. Is my camera on where my hands are?
Yes.
Yay! We finally figured it out. We've been having technological issues today.
It's a constant technological issue on a Secret Sewing Club. It's just one big continuous
I've just
one.
noticed my website is having a little bit of a moment as well. So I Quilt Studio. We will get it right. Bear with caller. So here we've got the tic-tac-toe quilt. And what I wanted to do is, because Vicky's got her beautiful rulers, I wanted there to be a huge amount of space in order to highlight those beautiful rulers and to be able to create a gorgeous space in order to show and highlight the rulers and your quilting work and do all of that. I just think it's a really nice way of doing it. And it's just a fun quilt. The only problem is it's not really suitable for layer cakes, which is a little bit annoying. But jelly rolls, you can do your jelly rolls, because when you do this, you're going to be creating these borders on the side And I'll show you how we do that now, but I'm going to show you a cheat version. And of course, I've now not got my camera in place. Bear with Paula. So you can see you're going to create these on either side and you're going to put them on. But I'm going to show you a few cheat methods that I do to try and make this quilt. So the first thing is you're going to cut out your blocks. I've used 5 different colors of blocks over here. You can see I've got 5 different colors, but then I've done them as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and counted them down so that you can create the secondary pattern as you go along. So I thought that was quite a fun way of being able to create a pattern. But the great thing is all the way around it, you're going to create your pieces in whatever method you like, using whatever fabrics you like. Do it as a scrappy quilt, do it as however you choose, but you can also get strip sets together and then just sew your strip sets into strips. Now, what I did was I sewed 3 together and then cut them. And I cut them, I can show you here, I cut them into 3 like that. And then I did sets of 2 together, not using the same ones as what I'd done for the 3. And I know that probably makes no sense whatsoever. So you can see I've got brown here and I've got this beautiful tan color and I've got this beautiful tealy green. So that was my first strip set that I chose. So what I did is I went through my bundle and I picked all those colors and I made those be my 3. So these ones were then taken out of the equation completely because I used those as groups of 3 and then subcut them down when I cut them into the widths this way to make it easier, because I like quick sewing. But then for my 2 blocks, because you need them in groups of 5, and of course now I've lost my 5, there we go. You need them in groups of 5. So you can see I've done 3 there and 2 there, only because you can tell I haven't sewn that one quite so straight. So these 3 would come out from sewing your 3 strip sets together over here. And you can do them in whatever order. It just then gave me a quick, easy way of making this quilt really simply. If you don't want to do that, the best way of doing it is to cut these the size of the pattern, put them all in a bin liner or a bag or a box or something around there, and literally just grab one piece out at a time, one piece out of a time, and it just gives you a really interesting look to be able to do it. So what I'm going to do is just show you how I did this as a 2 set. And literally all you're doing is you're putting your, I always put the selvage ends together, put the selvage ends there. And then you're going to sew 1/4 of an inch down the line of these selvages. I'm hoping we're not going to lose sound, but if we do, I will be back. And it's as simple as this. This is what I love doing. Really simple sewing. Because I've got a high stitch, very quick machine, it was just really simple to keep these going and just do them. And I think we all have those moments where we just need a little bit of mindless sewing. So I did that over and over and over again. And then when I got to the end, when I was ready to do this, obviously very professional, I pressed my seams all open and everything was fine. And I just quite simply cut off my selvage edge there and then just cut my strip sets being the size as it is per the pattern, okay? It's just very important that you cut them to the size of the pattern, otherwise they're not going to fit in the way you're doing them. And you just cut these strip sets like that, and then you've got a whole bunch of these. So when you've got your 3 that are put together like that, you just sew these together to create your 5 different patterns, just trying to do different lines and different colors all the way along. And the really simplest version of this is when you've got your block, you're going to sew all of them onto the left-hand side. And by doing that, there with Paula. Sorry, I thought my machine unthreaded there. Have you? Yes, it has stitched. And by doing that, If you do that on all of your 6 blocks per row and you sew those then when you come to put them together, you've got these strip sets all on one side. I'm just trying to find one with 5. Bear with. Does anybody else have this moment where you put everything in a pile and then you never get them again?
Constant.
Gone?
That's all of our lives, John.
There we go. We're going to do this
and you'll
one
get
now.
it all lovely and organised, and then
You know it's all
it just
here,
vanishes.
The second you finish, you find it. Because the thing I love is being able to put these on the left-hand side of each one. When you put them together, this is an offcut, so but it isn't the right side. And if you can then just repeat the process all the way along. So you can take all of the dark colors that you've got for your one number and the next one. And then when you come to put them together, you literally just then go and sew along that line there. And it is that simple to sew this quilt together. And you just do 6 rows of them. Pattern will show you everything. Of course, now the machine has unthreaded. Oh, I think it's a Sunday afternoon thing. All technology just having a moment.
That was such a huge sigh.
It was such a huge what?
Sigh. It's like,
I know, it's just because, you know what it is? I don't know why. I find I'm using Oracle thread, which I love, but it's been going through a phase where it just will not thread through my machine.
Oh,
And
we
my
had
ladies,
a
I
lady
love
with
them.
that at a retreat that we did. It was, for some reason, it just would not work on her machine, and we had to, I went and got mine out of the car in the end.
One of my ladies said that there's a strong chance that there's too much static in the air,
Oh,
which I thought, oh, that's interesting, because obviously it's being thread, it can be affected by static. But you can see as I'm stitching these, you've got these squares all around the big square. And that is how simple it is just to sew the blocks together. Now, obviously, this isn't a full block because I've just used a scrap. But you don't have to make the quilt the size that I've done it, which I think is 82 inches square. You can see there it's a 6 by 6. You don't need to make it 82 inches square. You can do it as a baby quilt. You can do 4 by 4. You can do 3 by 3. You can do 6 by 6. You can alternate because the pattern is identical all the way through. So it's a really, really simple quilt. There is a video on my YouTube page, which is I Quilt with John. So if you haven't been able to get it through there will be a full video up by the end of next week. And yes, if you go to iquilt.studio and look for Secret Sewing Club, you'll be able to find it in there. And if you type in when you're checking out the word secret, because my postage is £6, because I do 24-hour tracked and traced, you get 25% off your entire purchase, no minimum spend, because the postage is a little higher. So if anybody wants to, secret is the discount code, 25% off everything in that category. And that includes this.
John, I do have a question. Nikki wants to
Absolutely.
know what the jelly roll you're using is.
What the what run?
The jelly roll that you're using. I think she means the pattern on all the little
So
coloured
what the
bits.
jelly roll run?
I think maybe you've just cut 2-inch strips of fabric rather than actually used the jelly roll.
Yes, I haven't used the jelly roll at all.
Right. Okay.
I
What
always
fabrics
use
are you
yardage.
using then? That's all she wants to know is what fabrics are you using?
Fabric is called Tic-tac, and it's by, forgive me if I get the designer wrong, I think it's Kim Schaefer, and it's on from Macau. So it is on the website. I have been having an issue. The Tic-tac for some reason has been hiding, but give me about half an hour and it will be on there. So all the fabric is on there already.
Okay.
So there is a kit as well if you do want to make the big one. Most people don't want to make giant big quilts, but the leftover fabric will be there as well. But it's the pattern is more the case of being able to use up your scrap because you've got loads of it, and then you just buy yourself some background color that you love. You can use some of Vicki's beautiful rulers to be able to do something there. It's just a nice little cohesion there to be able to merge the two together.
Splendid.
I hope they like it.
Splendid, splendid. So let me go and grab Vicky if she is ready. Even if she's not ready, we're going to go and get her anyway. There you go. I mean, I'm kind of, I'm done with it now. I'm like, right, ready or not, we're coming. I know Vicky's been on Facebook answering some questions about various feet for quilts, but you're right. Or if you've got a panel, maybe what's the size of the big squares? How big were your big squares in your quilt, John?
They're in the pattern.
Oh, okay.
You can't give everything away.
No. I was just thinking, all I was trying to do was, you said it was not suitable for layer cake, but I'm thinking if people have got panels.
They are bigger than a layer cake. Yeah.
So if people have got panels, maybe, that they wanted to use in them, they could kind of cut those into them or something like that?
Exactly.
Maybe. Okay. Vicki, I will come to you in just a second because I always forget to do the things that we've brought. Because we've got a little bit more time today, I can actually do it. I'm just going to grab some bits out of my box over here because I've got a box of stuff. So I'm going to quickly show you what Emma's put on our Craft Yourself Silly offer for today, which means I need to switch it to me. There we go. So what she's done is all of our... I haven't put any lights. I thought it was a bit dark in here. I've not put any lights on today, which I really should. Let me see if I can press some buttons. Oh, from here. Oh, that's a little bit better. And then... oh, turn that one off. There we go. Marginally better. Okay, so what we've got is we've got our beautiful threads. So these are a perle thread. There's a huge amount on here. There's 50 meters per ball on these, so there's absolutely loads. That's how they come to you. The better way for me to show you how they look is to do them like this. So this shows you the name of the colour, and then we've got a little stitched out bit on each to show you kind of how they look when they're stitched out. So if you're kind of cross stitching with them, then you get that colour graduation. If you're just kind of stitching and stitching and stitching, it's brilliant because you can use one piece and you get all of those different colours working through without having to actually chop and change your thread. So that one is chrysanthemum, and then you've got marigold. Oh, where am I going to put all these? I didn't think this through. Then you've got aster, which is taking you through those really soft kind of peachy yellow tones through into purple and that kind of wine red. Then you've got sea holly. That, one of the most popular colours we do. Never understood it because it's just grey and white. But again, one of the most popular colours we do. You've got bearded iris. That's kind of... It's kind of like almost like tobacco colours in this one. It's really, really pretty, and again, one of a really popular one that we do. Really bright and zingy there with dahlia or dahlia, depending on how you want to say it. Then we've got camellia and viola. This one is called something jazzy, but we had to shorten it to get it on here. But again, this one's giving kind of Wednesday vibes. It's giving Halloween vibes as well. That one's pretty good. This one is tiger lily. That's the one that I showed you at the beginning. And look how different they look on the ball to how they look stitched out. Because when you see it on the ball, you've got those colour graduations kind of going a lot faster because they're all wrapped round. When you stitch it out, you can see a bit more gradually the change in those colours. Then you've got foxglove, really nice, soft, pale, kind of peachy colours into pinks, into blues, into whites. Then you've got pansy, which is a really soft rainbow collection. And bluebell, which is all your blues, right from a kind of quite a deep royal blue through into white. This one is my favourite, which is delphinium. That one is kind of more denim colour, so it goes right from your kind of indigo blue all the way through to that kind of more washed out denim into it's not quite a white, this one, it's that kind of acid washed jeans colour. Then you have cornflower, all your blues, your purples into that really, really nice bright turquoise. Then you've got lupin. That one's blues into greens, nice soft colours, great for foliage, that one as well, because you can kind of chop, well, apart from the blue bit maybe, but if you're doing flowers, you can kind of time it so the blue bits make the flowers and the green makes the foliage. Then you've got fuchsia, and it looks exactly like it says on the tin, this one. It's the purples and the pinks. Then you have blue bonnet and spider plant. Again, super zingy colours in these one. Dianthus. Now this is one of the most popular ones we sell, because if you're thinking of doing some hand embroidery and you're looking at foliage, you can see just with this, it's all of those kind of foliage colours without being too kind of emerald green and in your face. Then you've got tulip. Then if you're looking for slightly softer colours for foliage, then zinnia is a nice one to go for. It's kind of those, you know, when you get a lettuce and the new leaves in the middle, it's like that. It's your new lettuce leaf colour. Then you've got frangipani, which is oranges. Again, Halloween, all those kind of things, perfect for that. Oh, another good Halloween one there, look, black velvet petunia. And daisy, which is white through all those soft colours into your kind of proper egg yolk yellow as well. Then we've got forget-me-not. Now these are all on the Crafty Self Silly website. I will show you that website in just a second. You can either use the web link at the bottom, or you can use the QR code, which is just there, and that will take you straight to the section that's got these in. So this one's forget-me-not. Really nice kind of deep turquoise colours, kind of almost peacock blue going into pinks, and a really soft, it's not quite a white in this, it's more of a soft blue. Then begonia. Now we buy all of these threads from Portugal, and this is their biggest seller. I find that odd, but apparently it is, so there you go. Then you've got snowdrop, which is super kind of rainbow colours, but really nice soft pastels. Sunflower, that would go really well with daisy if you were kind of working them in tandem. And then hydrangea. This again was one of our most popular colours that we brought out in this, because again, I think if you're doing flowers and things, you can kind of time it so that the pinks make the flowers and the greens make the foliage. Periwinkle, which is a super soft, gentle, light purples into those really kind of soft duck eggs as well. Then I've only got a couple more, we're powering through them. Azalea, which is all of your pinks into white, and Cosmos, which is your oranges through peaches into whites. I have got a risky pile going on just off camera here. Oh, you can see my juice as well. It's lovely. Then we've got thistle, which is the kind of lavender tones. It's the lighter purples almost towards pink going into white. Then rose, which takes you from that really deep red wine all the way through those slightly lighter, kind of softer, more like a rose pink into the super light, super soft, more like a baby pink. And then you've got heather, which is just all of your different colours of purple in one thread. So do go and have a look. I think there's a special offer. I think it's like a 25% discount or something like that on them. But they also are not just for hand stitching. This is micro crochet with them. And these are super cute. So that one there is tulip. That one's foxglove. That one's pansy. So you can see they look so different from how they start out on those balls, because they you get a real kind of good transition of colour through them. Right, so do go and have a look on there. I will go and, well, I'll put everybody back together, and then I'll sort the websites out and make sure that everybody, you can have a quick look at everybody's website as well, because it would be a good idea to do that. Have I kept them open, or did I shut them down? Oh no, we're good. I'm on it. I'm on it like a car bonnet today. So there we go. That's the wrong page. That's the page that we had up the other day. So if you go to the Crafty Self Silly website and go to the Secret Sewing Club section, 6th of July, you'll find all of, oh, just put the solids on as well. Any embroidoodle with one of our thread balls and get 25% discount. So you have all of those threads on there. It does remind you at the top that there's a panel and ball discount if you go for them together. The balls are $6.49. The panels And there's loads of panels in here as well. Oh, there's 3 reminders on that one. So you can go for Christmas themes. You can go for, there's a feather one. There's a sewing one. Where's the sewing one? Let me find that. Oh, there's all the letters as well. Oh, she's put the lot up. Oh, I didn't know she was putting all this up. But there you go. The sewing theme one's really, really fun. Now, they are about 8 inches square. So nice size to fit in a hoop and super, super, you know, kind of detailed, which means you can add as much or as little as you want. Let me just go back to me and then find everybody else. There we go. Splendid. So, Vicki, I wanted to call you Michelle there for some reason. I don't know why. Did you manage to find the lady on Facebook who had a question about a Juki? No, maybe. Oh, I muted you.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
I've sorted it. I've done it. It's all right.
And John, we did your question about, it wasn't a jelly roll, it was strips of not TikTok, Tic-tac.
I have to say, though, that anybody who thinks that I may be clever enough to run a software studio, you have made my life. I'm not that clever on any level whatsoever, but thank you for thinking that. No.
Oh.
Full-fledged quilt shop. Bricks and mortar.
Bricks and mortar. Bricks and mortar.
Fabric, but software, I couldn't even get my camera to work on here.
It's all right, though. We sorted it. It's all good. Honestly, I've got... well, we got remote access software in lockdown, so that if people were working from home, I was working from home, I could still get into the computers at work. And then we kind of joined my dad into the work group because he's 78, or is he 79? He's old, and he's old. It's fine. But do you know what? He tries so hard with kind of computers and things, and he likes to do his bits and pieces on there. But there's always what he likes to call situations. He says there's never problems, there's just situations. So at least twice a week we have a situation. So I added him onto the remote access software. So now I don't have to kind of run down there, or he doesn't have to wait for me to get down there. I can just log in remotely and fix it, because usually he's just clicked and dragged something, he's put it somewhere random. But yes, there's situations. But in the next time we come round, I'll tell you about his birthday present. He won't be watching, so he doesn't get it till tomorrow. It was his birthday on the 23rd of June. And we were, what do you get him? He's kind of, he's done everything he wants to do, but he really loves Batman, like the old school Batman, like the 60s, 70s one.
The kill ones, or proper old.
Oh, no, the Adam West one. Where they look actually like the kind of they look a bit more like the comic, if you know what I mean. They've got the yes, that he loves it. And when we did our first trade show in America, I'd kind of booked to go with the lady who works with me at work, and she'd fell pregnant, so that wasn't an option. So I said, right, Dad, you're coming. So he came out with me to Anaheim to do this show. And one of the things he really wanted to do, we wanted to go back to Universal Studios, so we did that. And then he wanted to go and see the Batmobile, because this guy called George Barris still has a place near Hollywood where he has all of these shows from the cars from various TV shows that he'd done. So we went, and we must have waited for about 3 hours for this guy, and he'd gone out for lunch with somebody and just never came back. But we did find somebody to let us in, and he got to sit in the Batmobile and stuff, so he was delighted. But it turns out somebody has bought the Batmobile and now runs it for little track days. So tomorrow we're taking him down to York, and he doesn't know about this yet. We've just told him it's a great birthday present, but he needs to bring some ID. I knew he didn't have a passport, so he's got to bring his driving license. And we're taking him to drive the Batmobile tomorrow.
Amazing.
He's going to love it.
And do you know that York has the largest gin bar in the world? It has the most different gins in the world in there, so you can take him for a gin and tonic afterwards.
I knew you'd know that, John. Somehow. So yeah, we're. I think he's going to be excited tomorrow. So we're just.
Amazing.
I know. I couldn't. I mean, my brother found it, and I kind of went and booked everything. But I mean, how do we top that for next birthday, man? We should have saved it for his 80th.
Yeah.
How do we top
Don't
it?
save anything ever. Do it and do it all now.
Well, exactly. So that's what we thought, and there was some kind of the end of summer and stuff, but we thought no, just let's just get it done. So very excited to go on an adventure tomorrow. So Vicki, are you ready for round 2? Splendid.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready when you are.
Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go and find your website, so when you've finished your demos we can show people exactly where they can find everything to be able to buy it. Because remember, on Secret Sewing Club, there's no one website that you go to buy everything. You buy directly through the guys that are on here, and that's why they've all got their website at the bottom and that QR code up in the corner, because that's how you support us and you support what we do. So Vicki, I shall throw it over to you, and it's all yours.
Thank you. Right, I was going to say something about the website, but I'll leave that till the end. But there was one thing I was going to say is, if you're watching me do any of these rulers or any other rulers that you've seen on our website, you don't have to memorize how to use them. We've got a YouTube channel that's got a video tutorial for all of the rulers, so you can get some hints and tips for each one. Or if there's one that you fancy but you can't, you look at the ruler and you think, oh, I'm not too sure, I can't visualize what patterns I can make from that ruler. You can either go on our website and go through, click on the rulers, and there's the YouTube video at the bottom, or you can just go straight to the YouTube channel on YouTube, and then that will, like I said, you can just have some tips or some reminders or whatever, the patterns. So that's useful for everybody. Hopefully, I am in the process of redoing all those YouTube videos. So some of them are my newer videos, some of them are the slightly older videos, but they're all still, perfect for what you need. Okay, so I'll move on to the Shirley Special ruler that I touched on before. And you probably wonder why it's called Shirley Special, but it's because it's our Shirley and Bruce, who founded the company. Obviously, she's named this ruler after herself, and we are obviously keeping the name. We couldn't get rid of our Shirley Special. So like I said before, briefly, it is linked hearts that we are creating here. I'm trying to find some. There we go. So you can do chunky borders, long lines of these linked hearts, or you can go round the corner all in one thread. So that's what I'm going to attempt to show you now. So let me just get my ruler. So as always, start the exact same way. Foot down, needle down, and then you can see perfectly here how the shape of them is for your hands. So you can get that light touch on the ruler, light touch on the material. So we're going to do this almost the backwards S, I guess, is the easiest way to describe this shape. So we just go like that down one side, stop with the foot down and the needle down, and then we can slide the ruler over, and then you can continue. So this is how you make, this is going to be the bottom heart that it makes in the linked, and then half of the top heart as well. So you just keep doing the same thing again. Every time you stop, you can see how easy it is there to glide the ruler back to the position, and then you can just carry it on. So you can carry that on for as long as you like. This would also be a perfect ruler to fit in John's quilt. You can fit it in a relatively smallish space, and it would fit beautifully in there if that's how you wanted to decorate it. So I'll show you that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'll just show you that I've done, and you can just see the linked heart effects, and you can see how you could continue that all the way across as you wanted. I'm just going to do the corner bit now, so I'll put my foot back where it was so you can see how it can all be done in one thread. So that's where I was before, where I finished. So we're moving it back round. The only difference is, instead of completing the whole of the backward S side on it, we're just going to do half. as if you're just completing the top section. So you just, and you'll know where it is because you'll meet the previous thread that you've done. Okay, and then what we're going to do here is, this is the bit that, so if you've got a big piece of quilt and you want to turn the corner, you can leave your material where it is and you can just turn the ruler round. So you don't have to move the material. Okay, so you can if you want to. Obviously, if you feel more comfortable doing that, you can do that. But it just gives you the options that you don't have to. You can sew, that's why you've got your free motion. You can sew in any direction that you want to. Okay, so I'm just going to do the corner section now, and then I can show you what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to sew half at a time, stop there, move the ruler along, line it all up nicely. So what I'm doing here is that we have got some scroll lines that you can use to line it up, but you can also use the stitching that you've already done. So if you want the linked hearts to sort of kiss each other on the way past, you just want your stitching that you've done in the centre of the channel that you're doing next. So then they'll nicely bypass each other and kiss each other along the way. So you can do it two different ways, however you want to do it. So I'll just do another little one, and then I'll show you what that looks like. So this is perfect for, like I said, a chunky border, or you can do straight lines, parallel lines, anything that you want. So you can see, just get some scissors, cut that off, how I've done that all in one thread. And that did not take me very long at all, really, to do that. It's nice, quick, simple and easy. You're just repeating. Once you've got it down, you're just repeating the same process over and over again if you want to continue the length of the pattern. Everything's there on the rule that you need, where to hold your hands, where to stop and start, all your scroll lines, and like I said, you can use the thread as well in the middle of your channel. So that's our Shirley special. Like that. Shirley special ruler there. Okay, so I was going to move on now to, once you've got all your rulers that you want, you might be like, well, what am I going to do with them all? So we've got what's called our Parrs pockets. So what I've done is I've got like almost like a deconstructed one, so I can show you the parts as we go along. But when you do buy this, it's a pattern, so I'll show that for you, and it's illustrated. So it's got step by step each section that you need to complete. So it takes you through it nice and easy. It's not too long either, and it'll be a beautiful storage solution at the end. And what I love about it is that you can personalize it. You can pick what material you want to use every time you do it. You can pick what rulers you want to quilt the outside with, to decorate it with, and you can also pick how many pockets that you want for it. So like I said, I've got some deconstructed bits. It is all there in the instructions, but I'm just showing you a few little bits. So what you need to do first of all is you need to make your pockets. So these are just panels. So I've got different material on the front and back, and I've quilted each side, and I've done the binding around the top. And then what these will do is you'll fold these in half. So you need to decide which you want as the back of the pocket and which you want as the inner bit when you open it up. And they will make your pockets. So you can make as many of them, got another couple here, as you like. Got one more. And then this one, this was my favourite. I've done the nice, lovely clamshells inside that one. That was my favourite. So when you get all the pockets, the idea behind it is it's going to be a concertina effect. So you've got all these pockets that open up like this. And again, you can store one ruler in each, you can store multiple in each, and you can have as many. You can have 10 different pockets or however many you want. So that's how you start it off. You cut all your fabrics, get all your pockets that you want, and do all the fun bit, picking your material and decorating it. They're the inside bits. And then you need 2 outside bits. So I've got one here that are the outside bits. So it's the same principle as what I've just done. They're just slightly longer because behind these are going to fold in 3. Essentially, you'll fold it up like that, and then it'll fold up like that. So that's why it's got that extra bit of length, because it's going to be into 3 sections instead
Vicki?
of 2 sections like the other bit.
Vicki,
Yeah?
I've got a question. Can you join extra pockets later as you build your rulers?
Now what you have to do is, because you do put a front and a back on it, so if you wanted to join extra pockets afterwards, you'd have to take the back panel off to add your extra pockets on. So it is doable. You just have to take one side off. You wouldn't have to deconstruct the whole thing. So you could start with a few pockets and then add them on later on, as long as you're willing to just take that back bit off, which, to be honest, wouldn't take that long. It's just a few lengths of stitching to unpick. It wouldn't take long. So the short answer is yes. The long answer is you just need to remove the back section of it. So like I said, that's what it would be like, obviously. And then what you would do then is, when you buy the instructions, you do get the handles to go with it. So this is an example of the handle when it's put on. So you'll have, this is that one, you'd have like your panel, your front panel, you have your pockets, and then your back panel, and then these would all fold up together, and you could carry it round, and it also has little ties on the side to tie them in. So that's the basics of it, deconstructed. I have got some of it that I've put together. It's not a finished one. I don't want to spoil it for you, but it's not a finished one, but you can get the idea. What I wanted to show you was the concertina effect that it has when it's finished. So I've got my front panel on here with the handle, and then I've got 1, 2, 3 pockets. So I'll try and show you. Can you see how it's got the concertina effect there? So I'll do it this way so you can see. Try not anything fall out. So that's when you join your pockets together and you've got your concertina effect. So if I can grab a ruler, full rulers, you can just see how they slot beautifully into there. And then when you've got the back panel on, these 2 handles will come together, you carry it round, and then you put a little tie on the end. So if you've got loads and loads of pockets, your tie will squeeze them a bit together, so it's nice and handy to go round carrying your rulers. So it just keeps them all together, and it's another fun project. You get to use your rulers to decorate your Parrs pockets, which is really fun. So that's that. Like I said, you get the coloured illustrated pattern, and you also get the handles as well. So you get two sets of handles that clip together on either side. Really easy to put on. The whole thing's nice, easy, fun project that I just thought would be something a bit different for you to do with your rulers. And then at the end of it, you get something to store your rulers in. So that's Parrs Pockets. And again, that's on the website. We've got a section for the Secret Sewing Club on our website that we have actually got a code for that. So I'm sure it's this time it's Secret 3.
Right, so with that in mind, I've got a message from Jeanette, just looking at the website, not sure if I'm on the correct page. It says Secret Sewing Club and a discount code, but it's not quite the same as you said, and it says something about the teddy bear being available. So I'm just going to quickly hop on your website. I'll not put it live yet. I'll just have a quick look and I'll see. Yeah, Secret 3. It's up there. At the checkout, right? What I'll do is I will switch it over to your website. Unfortunately, they won't be able to hear you. So anything that you want them to know, if you let me know.
Okay. Okay. Well, the main thing is it's the tab at the top that says.
Okay. So. If you use the web address or you use the QR code, this is where it will bring you to. It will bring you to the homepage. If you look at the top just up here, it says Secret Sewing Club, and then there's a little banner pops up with Secret 3 that is the code that you will need to use for your extra 10% off. And then all of the things that Vicki has been showing you today, like the coverall meander, Shirley special, the graduated motif, the Parrs pockets, it's all there, so you can see kind of everything and pop things in your basket. So let me just go and grab Vicki back because I've got a couple more questions. Does that secret 3 code work on all of the things on the website, or is it just the items?
It's all the things that we have featured on today's show.
Perfect.
So all those things on that page. Yeah, and that's live until Tuesday. So you have got a couple of days to use that code if you want to.
And Jean says she didn't quite hear the code. Could you repeat it for her, please?
Yeah, so it's secret 3.
Perfect.
But again, it's on the website. It's on that page what you need to put in. So it's all on there.
And Jeanette's just clarified: is the teddy bear ruler available?
It's not on this section because we haven't done that today.
But it is on the website somewhere.
It is on the website. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let me go and see if I can grab John. Look, there he is, back in the room.
Hello.
I've seen you've been very busy answering people on the messages.
Trying to.
Actually, there's one more for Vicki just before we move on. Jean's got some Parrs rulers, but now she's got a Bernina. Can she still use them with her new Bernina machine?
Yeah, so with the Bernina, as long as she's got... So Bernina do their own version of the ruler foot.
Right.
So as long as her machine came with that attachment, then yes, our rulers are compatible with that.
Perfect. Okie dokie. And John, what's it? Because I know you've got 3 demos today. You're very exciting. What's the next one you've got for us?
Well, it's English paper piecing. And I have to tell you a little funny story about this.
Okay.
I had a lady come onto my class for this. We did it as during lockdown. It was one of our little pieces during lockdown. And she did this one and she did the next one. And for both of them, she turned around and she says, I am so glad I did this class because I hate English paper piecing more than anything in the whole world. And that was the best £10 I've ever spent because now I've made a pincushion that I hate and I never have to do EPP ever again.
Wow.
And I thought that was so good because sometimes you do something and you try it and you don't like it, but then you're faced with this enormous project that you've now got to finish and you don't love it.
No, I quite like EP. I think it's a good one for like on holidays and things when you don't have to take a load of stuff with you for it, especially if you've already done your hexagons or whatever. Exactly. It's quite a low maintenance one.
I started an English paper piecing project 10 years ago. It was
not finished, is it?
Fabric, and he was on the sewing bee. And just after he was on the sewing bee, he went to Craft Cotton Company and he created the sewing bee collection. And I just loved that collection. I thought it was so pretty. So I took that and then I found this design on, I can't remember where I found it. And then I just cut all the hexagons, worked out how many I needed, glued them all down, and put them into one of those art boxes. And it's been in that art box for 10 years with one of those silica gel things. You know, when you buy your shoes, you get those silica gel things.
Yeah.
And you know, the glue from these glue pens, it's still holding after 9 years.
Well, impressive.
These glue pens, I swear by.
Impressive. Right, I shall give you full screen privileges, and you can crack
Wonderful.
on.
And I will now try and figure out what I'm doing and moving everything around. I still find it hysterical. The fact that somebody thought I knew how to use software has made my life.
You don't need to know. I'll do it for you. Don't worry.
This is what we're going to make. So I've got a handful. I think I've got 13 of these Tula ones. And these are made up of a varying amount of Tula pink. So they will be a different color to what you're seeing on the screen. This is the handmade collection she had a few years ago. So we do have a handful of the Tula Pinks if you want the Tula Pinks. Otherwise, we've got Christmas ones with different backings. And annoyingly, I decided to do this beautiful grey, but I've only got one or two of them left, which was a bit silly of me. I should have checked my stock beforehand. But what you're going to get in the kit is you're going to get all of the pieces that you need to be able to do it. They're pre-cut. You're going to get your white fabric for the middle. You're going to get all the fabric you need for wrapping them around here. You're going to get your stuffing, enough stuffing to do that, and you're going to get a full pattern on how to do it. And there is a YouTube video on how to do it as well. But I thought instead of doing the whole project, I made this flower up yesterday, and I thought I would make it a little easier by making up part of my flower yesterday as well. I'm a bit worried I'm pulsating here. I do apologize. I'm not quite sure why that is happening. So
Don't
all
worry,
you're going to do is...
It's just your camera trying to auto-focus. So
I will then leave. I will try and be as unmovie as possible. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your little piece of paper. You're going to put it on the back side of your fabric. You do not need to trim off these edges. You don't need to at all, but you do end up with a little bit less bulk when you do trim them off. As you can see, I'm a very rough and ready stitcher. I don't really, as long as it works, it works. Now, I swear by glue pens. These are the Soline glue pens. You will see them. They are in the section on my website, iquilt.studio/ and if you then look at the store, you'll see the Secret Sewing Club in there. And they're 25% off today with this code SECRET. So all you do is you put a little bit of glue on the paper where you're going to go. Now, these are either blue, pink, or yellow. You can see, you can use rotary cutter, you can use scissors. You're just going to divide the piece of fabric you've got into 3. You're then going to take your piece of fabric, lay the piece of paper on top of it, and you can just trim these off with your rotary cutter.
John, just
As I
hang
said, you
fire.
don't need to trim these off.
Hang fire for one
Sorry,
second. Nothing has changed from our end, but we've got a couple of people saying that they've got no sound. So we're just gonna. Oh, it's back. Yeah, I don't think it's us today. I think it might be Facebook today that's got the issue. So carry on. Sorry about that, but I have got your website ready.
Sorry about?
Well, it's not my fault. It's Facebook's fault. So I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I do have your website ready whenever you wish. But you do need to move yourself forward and towards the sewing machine a little bit because you're right on the side. That's it. Perfect. Happy days.
I like feedback. It's important. But I have to say, what I love about using the Soline glue pens, as I said, I've got the Stuart Hillard fabric. I've been stitching it for 10 years, and I love it. But the great thing is knowing that when I open my little art box and all the fabric is in there, glued to the papers, I don't need to worry because I know that the fabric is there, the papers are all glued down. And if I just want to do 3 or 4, I can then just go and pull out 3 or 4 of my hexagons and sew them together, and then I can put them back in the box. And as Hayley says, if you're going traveling, you can take it onto the aeroplane. It's no problem at all. The only thing you can't do is take your Fiskars scissors on. Ask me how I know. But what you can do is you take an unpicker. Those little teeny tiny unpickers, the ones I've got from Clover, I find are my favorite ones. Again, those are also in the section of the Secret Sewing Club. Those are absolutely fine on the plane, and you can cut all of your threads with that, no issue whatsoever. and you can English paper piecing as much as you like.
This sounds like
I'm not applying a huge amount of glue either. You can see the only reason I'm going over it 2 or 3 times is because the glue, you can see, has just formed a little triangle on my piece there. So just trying to get it on, it takes a little bit there. So there we go. We have now got all of our pieces glued down. As I said, I've already put these 4 together. So it's quite simply, you're going to make a flower. So you're going to have 6 petals and 1 in the middle. And when you stitch them together, there are many rules of thought. There is no right or wrong. It's what works for you. Many people go and do the middle bit first, and then other people will do the middle bit and then sew this bit to there. So you're then going to do spokes all around. There is no right or wrong. Do what works best for you. I am going to do, because I've got a big piece already done, I'm going to sew this into place. Now, with regards to your thread, I use Oracle thread. I'm not using my 80 weight because I stupidly left it at home. I'm using a 50 weight, and I always double thread and then put a big knot on the end of it. I'm using my Clover gold tipped needles because I find they work really, really well. Again, they are on the website, I Quilt Studio. If you look in the store, you'll find the section for Secret Sewing Club. And when I start this off, I always start by having a double stitch into my first stitch, just sort of like a locking stitch. Only because if something goes wrong when you're stitching it along, you can unpick, and you don't have to unpick the whole thing. But you don't have to do that. 1 stitch is fine, 1 thread is fine. You are going to try and keep the length of your thread roughly the length of your forearm, and the reason for that is that you don't want it knotting and tangling. So you can do it how you want, but I find that's the easiest way of doing it, the length of your forearm. I still end up with knots and threads, but it's just that you can see, like, as I said that, we ended up with a little knot. So just gently work the thread in and out. If you have got beeswax or any of that lovely stuff, by all means use it. I've never found it's worked for me, so I don't. Side, and then you just go, and it flows beautifully. I think it works really well. And a great mindful process, being able to just do this of an evening, nice and slowly. It doesn't need anything else. Just quietly going on.
I've got a couple of messages for you, John. I have Jean, who's been making some hexes while she's been on holiday. She just uses a mini charm, so she doesn't have to cut the squares.
That is a really good tip. I love those mini charms for that.
We've been cutting loads of those recently, because we cut for other people, we cut for ourselves as well. But yeah, one of the biggest requests we've had at the minute is mini charms. It seems to be a big thing at the minute.
Oh, fabulous. Now, just a very quick thing before you carry on. Because I've reached the end, I always do a double stitch at the beginning and the end of my hexagon. You do not need to. That's just one of my little quirks that I've done with all my English paper piecing. So just like a little double knot at the beginning and at the end of every side. Sorry, Hayley.
It's absolutely fine. While you are whizzing your way around the rest of that, do you want me to take people to your website so we can have a little bit of a nosy around?
That'd be lovely.
Okie dokie. Let me find the button that does the website. There we go. So I was having a nosy. I was looking at all your awards. Look. Anyway, so this is the homepage of John's I Quilt Studio website. If you want to find the bits and pieces he's got on today, if you just go to the shop section, a little drop down will appear and you'll hit Secret Sewing Club. And there you go, all of the things that John has on the show today are on there. So I'm just going to have a quick look for the tick. No, see, now you've got me wanting to say tick. You put loads on today. Oh, it's absolutely... Right. Okay. So what I will do, unfortunately, they wouldn't have got any of that because when it goes to the website, it only picks up my microphone, doesn't pick up everybody else's. So if you want to repeat that, because I was like, oh, there's loads on your website in the Secret Sewing Club section, and you said...
No problem. I say basically because the last 3 or 4 times that we've been on, people have been busy, it's been Mother's Day, it's been different other things. I thought I would put every single product I've ever brought onto Secret Sewing Club onto the website, all the English paper piecing, all the different things on there, and that way then with the code SECRET, when you check out, you get 25% off all the fabric, all the patterns, all the different kits, all the bundles. So just thought you're all supporting teeny tiny businesses like mine, and that's so kind of you, and we all need it in this day and age. So a little teeny tiny thank you of 25% off. Thank you so much for supporting small businesses. Because without your support, it's very, very difficult.
Yeah, and it is tough, and things like this take out a lot of time for people because it's not just the time that we are live, it's all the stuff that comes before that, it's all the prep that everybody has to do. It's all very much hard work, and it would be much easier just to have a proper job. But anyway, I've got more questions for you. How easily does the paper come out when you've used glue?
Right, well, we're jumping ahead.
Okay, sorry.
Because this is glued. Now you can see over here, this one I didn't trim. I don't know if my camera's on here.
Yes, you're good. You're good.
Perfect. So you can see this one I didn't trim, and it doesn't mean anything. All you do is you lift your paper, you lift your fabric. It comes away very, very easily, and you literally just put your finger in, and you pull your papers out. It is that simple. I'm not pulling these out at the moment, only because when we put them together, having the papers in make it really, really easy. But you can see there is no, there's nothing here. Now, there is a little bit of residue of blue here because I did a little bit there, but all you do, you just rub your finger over it and it comes off. It just rubs off completely. Don't quite know why that's not coming.
Oh, no.
I think we're going to need to moisten it. Does anybody else hate that word?
Yes. Well, we're not going to go there though.
So there we go, and you can do that, and that's easily how you take your papers out. It's only because when I glue them together, I can't take them, stitch them together, I can't take the papers all the way out.
You should never kind of take the ones off the edge out. It's all right to take the ones out the middle, and people often do that and then reuse the middle papers to get bigger and bigger kind of thing, don't they?
I do indeed. I have never reused my papers because I've never finished a project. So, and I think it's also one of those things that I just leave them in until it's like my foundation paper piecing. Until I actually quilt the quilt, all the papers stay in until literally an hour before the quilt goes on the frame, because everything's on the bias. And if you store it in a box and it bends or whatever, it becomes a bit of a problem.
Do you not think, though, with paper piecing sometimes, it always looks lovely when the paper's in? But then as soon as you take the paper out, it always... Do you know what? I think I'll try and make some interfacing based ones that you could just leave in. Because that's the kind of main bugbear with this.
What you can also do, if you want to leave them in... have you heard of the Vlieselina Quilter's Grid triangle? Quick screen triangle. Yeah.
So again, it's essentially it's more or less just an interfacing, isn't it?
It's an interfacing, but the great thing is you don't have to take them out at all, and you don't have to hand stitch them. You can just use the beautiful decorative stitches on your sewing machine, and that's another thing that's in the Secret Sewing Club section on the website. Because you don't even need to take them out. You just leave the papers in. As you say, it's just a normal interfacing, which you'll find up to 30 degrees washing, and it's just so much easier doing it that way. think once festival is over and I've done my 14 entries, I will then be able to go and do a quilt like that because I'm dying to use all my decorative stitches.
How have you got
What,
the time
14?
to make 14 quilts?
Well, I've done 7 already. My 8th is on the machine being quilted this weekend.
You've got
The
about 3
9th
weeks,
is
John.
almost... I know.
Do you
I'm
feel
further ahead than I was last year.
do you feel you may have overcommitted?
Never, but I always deliver. You know me, I might be awake until 4 in the morning of delivery, but I will always deliver. You know what it is? I think you must, I don't know whether you have this problem or not, but as a quilter and you run a quilt shop and you love your job and you love quilting quilts for other people and you love fabric, you get so caught up in doing the day-to-day of running a quilt shop, the day-to-day of the business, you forget you started this because you love to quilt. And you started this because you just want to create and to sew and do things that you love. And I think it's really easy to forget that because you're running a quilt shop, you're struggling in this economy, your landlord's a moron. You've got all these things going on, and it's really hard to try and remember it. So every year I try very hard to be able to create something for festival that it's actually keeps me inspired and keeps me going because otherwise you're just literally working for your landlord, and that's never a good thing.
Well, we've got well, he's not that new. He's about when did we move in? About a year and 4 months ago. So he's reasonably new. But we're not dealing with a person, we're dealing with like a big corporation. And it's tough just to get anything done. I mean, we where our building is, it used to be an old timber merchant's, and it backs onto a really, really big yard. And then they'd sent somebody down to come and look at a fence that had blown over or something, and we found a fox, which had sadly passed away. But it had passed away some time ago. This thing was nigh on mummified, and it took 3 weeks to get them to take that away. It's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. But I do have more questions for you as well.
Please.
Jean says she was on holiday in Canada and got some plastic boxes which were designed for storing hexes. She can't find them again. She wished she could have got more. So if anybody knows of, appropriate, I don't know Jean, let us know what size you were working in.
What they look like as well. Send us pictures.
And then Nikki said she made a lot of hexes and she's got them stored in a box. Not sure what to make with them. John, do you have any patterns using hexes? Not kits, just patterns.
Nikki, I definitely do. And my suggestion to you would be simply, have you got 6 of each colours or multiples of 6 of each of the colours? Because I think that quilt with all of your flowers. So that's the best way of doing it. Otherwise, have a little look on, because that's how I found my one that I did with Stuart Hillard. If you just type in free EPP designs on Google, you will end up with thousands of them. And they are so, so interesting. And they're all heritage designs, so nobody can take credit for them. But for me, the flower garden is the way to go. And if you've got a lot of one specific color that you really like, you can do this one, but then do a border around. I can't remember how far along, but you do a border around it. So you've got a flowers path garden. So you've got the grandmother's flower garden with the flowers, but you've got a pathway around it. So that works really beautifully as well. But that one's a little bit more tricky because you've got to remember where to put your pathway without duplicating it.
John, apparently the sound's gone off again. Now again, everything looks absolutely fine from my side. I can hear you perfectly. We think the problem is with Facebook at the minute. So, I mean, maybe not all of that answer, but I do need you to repeat some of the answer because it was Nikki who was looking for patterns. It said the sound went when you said 6 colours.
So you've got the 6 colours here. Do your hexagons on those and find a colour for the middle, and then make multiples of them and store them like that, and then you just sew these together as you go along, because you can see when you do them like that, you can just sew them together and create these really interesting hexagons and blocks as you go along. So for me, the grandmother's flower garden is always a good one. It's a really easy one to start with.
And also, if you need to make it go a bit further, like you've done there, if you just pick one plain colour and you've got loads of different other colours, that one plain colour in the centre of each of them will just tie everything back together.
Now, one thing I will say to you is if you are using scraps, that's fabulous, do that. But often what happens is you use scraps, you put it in a box, and then you leave it alone and you forget about it for 10 or 15 or months or years or whatever. Make sure you put a lot of fabric in the bag, because often what happens, you will be able to find on Facebook, unfortunately, people haven't finished their projects and they end up on Facebook Marketplace being given away or being sold off for next to nothing. And in order to finish it, you don't actually have enough of the fabric in that tone, in that color, to be able to finish the project. So make sure you get extra fabric that you like and enough, more than enough to finish your quilts, and then put that in the bag that you're storing it in, because that way then if you don't get to finish it, the next person who does get to finish it has enough fabric that you wanted to use to finish the fabric off, the quilt off. I'm being morbid, I know, but it's practical. It's unfortunate, being the long arm quilter, you often end up with husbands whose wives have passed away, bringing you half finished projects, which is fabulous. And it's an enormous honor to be able to finish these quilts off for these amazing quilters. So being able to finish them off is great, but if you haven't got enough of the same green that they all bought in the 1980s, it's very difficult to finish the quilt off. And then trying to match colors now, trying to find vintage colors from the 80s, it's really difficult. But it's doable, but it's difficult. So then trying to marry the new colors up with the older colors, it just doesn't quite match as well. And it's also, if you're leaving it for years on end, just put all the fabric you're going to use for that quilt in one bag. And then when you've finished it, whatever's left over, just do a scrappy back. You can then just put them all together as squares for the back of the quilt. It's a really easy way of doing it.
Barbara's been on and she said she's made about 70 plus grandma's flowers, as she was told every quilter should make a handmade quilt.
I agree. Whether you make it or finish it, Barbara, you need to be clear.
Doesn't say it's in a complete quilt format. It may be
Yeah.
the flowers are just there at the minute, but
I have decided that for next year's festival, I am determined to have that because I want it in the traditional section and getting it finished for there. Now you can see I've now sewn the sides of all 5 of those on. All that's left is that one and that one. We're almost there. I don't know if you want to waffle on a bit with something there you've got, Hayley. If everybody's not bored, I'm more than happy to carry on.
What a wally. I did all of that with my blooming microphone down. What a wally. Oh, Barbara's been back on though. So Barbara has been back on. We can see your phone, my lovely.
Diamond Dust might be a good one as well.
Diamond Dust. Okay, I shall go and have another look. Maybe
for some reason the tumbling.
One day. Right, Barbara says she hasn't put it together yet. Maybe one day. She's trying to decide whether to put a border around each one. No sound. Yes, the no sound that time was my fault. I did manage to turn off my microphone before I went to the website. So, which one did you say is worth having a look at? I don't know why
the tumbling blocks isn't showing, but I will put it on in the next break, so it will be on there.
Okay, so what was the other one you suggested? Oh no, that's the one I couldn't find.
Tumbling.
Okay, which was the other one that you'd suggested apart from tumbling blocks? Diamond Dust.
Diamond Dust.
I'm not very fast at typing because the... Yes, you need to use code SECRET for that one. I've got a K-facet jigsaw or... Oh, there it is. I've got it. Right, hang on a second. Let me just show everybody that I found it. So this is the other one that John is recommending. I need to stay away from the picture because it keeps trying to zoom in. But this one has the pattern and the paper pieces. It doesn't have the fabric included. That's for you to select and choose how you want to put that together. But this one is the other one that he'd recommended. So that one's a really nice option as well. But there's absolutely loads on John's website. So do go on and you'll be there for hours. Don't do it now because we're busy now, but yeah, once we're done, then go and have a little wander around John's website. There you go, you're back in the room. We can see you stitching the last bit up.
So there we go. We have now done the last little knot on the edge here. Now you can see I'm not taking my thread out. We have another finished flower. We've got another flower over here, but all we're going to do really simply is we're going to put them one on top of the other and we're going to sew these together around the side, and you're going to leave a section like that all the way along. Now I'm pretty sure we're not going to have time to do all of that, but what we're doing is you're effectively sewing these right sides together. You're going to sew to about there, you're going to turn it around, and then you're going to use your wonderful little bag of stuffing and you're going to put all the stuffing in, turn it round, and then hand tack this closed on the outside. There is a YouTube video on how to do this, so if you don't want to be watching it on here, we probably won't have time to do that, but we'll be able to do that then on YouTube and you'll be able to see it from there. I will carry on for as long as you want me to, Hayley. Perfect. I do indeed. Oh, that's too funny.
Like then, it happens every week. Just like then, forgot to put my microphone up because I'm too busy looking at what everybody else is doing, not paying attention to what I'm doing myself. Vicki, you've got one more little demo for us. How big is it? This big? We've only got 2 of us today, so we'll probably get finished around the 4:30ish, maybe somewhere around there. But if you're ready to go, I shall pass it straight across to you.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, I can. Thanks. Hi everyone again. It's just a little bit from me really. I was just going to go through our super starter bundle. So if you've watched this video or any of the other videos and you fancy giving it a go, we do have some specific starter kits for you to get everything that you need. So I said earlier we've got the 10% off. We've got 10% off our super starter bundle until Tuesday. So I was just going to quickly go through what comes with that, and then I can show you some of the rulers that you get. So obviously you get your foot, We went through that earlier on. You'd get the foot that fits your machine, the high shank or the low shank. If you're not sure, just email us and we will tell you which one you need. You also get the Sew Slip mat. So you get this mat that helps you glide your material, and it's slightly tacky on the back and nice and smooth on the front. And what's so great about this is obviously it does help you glide and it gives you that motion that you're after, but also it will last you a very long time. If the tackiness starts to go off a bit on the back, I sometimes get little bits of thread and all sorts all over it. You can just give it a rinse with just water, no soaps or detergents or solutions or anything. Just give it a rinse and dry it off, and it will come back to life, a new lease of life, and you can keep using it for years and years and years. And you get 4 rulers as well. So we've picked these rulers specifically because they are good for beginners, but they can also level up to be more complex once you feel a bit more confident. So we've got our straight line ruler, pretty self-explanatory. Straight line ruler, great for borders. You could do centangles with them, angles, triangles, 45-degree, 90-degree angles. If you quite see, it's got all the square lines on there. It's got your 1/2 inch ones, 1/4 inch lines for doing diamonds, zigzags, all those kind of things. Then it's got our circle ruler. 4 different sizes of circles, as you can see there. We've got 2.5 inch diameter, 2 inch, 1 inch, and 1.5. You could do clamshells with that. You can do spirals with that. You can do floral things with that. Again, if you need any ideas or you're not sure, don't forget the YouTube videos will have all the details on each ruler. You get your heart ruler, which is, again, you can do stacked hearts, you can do border of hearts, you do small hearts, large hearts. Lots of really nice things to do with that ruler. And then you get our classic vine ruler, which you can sort of see the classic vine shape with the square lines. This one is very flexible. It can do all sorts of different shapes. Flowers, you can do vases, centerpieces, coveralls, borders, very, very flexible. So you get that. And you also get our tutorial. So that's an 1.5 hours of tutorial video specifically for these rulers. So you've got all the instruction that you need at your fingertips. And then I was going to show you these are our little Parrs buttons. So you can buy these separate or you can get them with the kit. And what they do is you can use them you can plan your designs and patterns without using the material. So what you do is, I've got a little one here out of the bag. You can see that they fit into the channel like that. So you would get a pencil, you get your paper, put the button in, and you would draw out your designs. So this is great if you've not used them before, or if you've not used them for a while and you need to refresh yourself on how to use the rulers, how to sort of move the rulers on the machine. So I've done a couple here that I did for the rulers I did earlier. So you can just see how you can plan out your designs. That's the Shirley special with the linked hearts. And then you've got your Meander here very quickly. And then last one, you've got graduated motif. So it's just so you don't have to waste material. It gives you that confidence because you know exactly how to move the ruler to get the designs that you want. So you can get all that in our super starter bundle. And I've done a quick while John was busy doing his thing. I've done a quick demo with some of our rulers. So I've just done very quickly. That's the classic vine there, up and down. I've also done this beautiful flower shape with our classic vines, just using the nice curves that it's got there to make the different ones. I've done a little tiny heart border at the bottom there with the smaller sections of the hearts. And I've done some quick clamshells with the circle ruler. And then I've just done a few angles just to show you how you can get the set angles with the straight line ruler. So it's just in that bundle, it's got everything that you need, lots of variety to get you started. And then, like I said, once you feel comfortable with the starter rulers, you can do more complex things, or you can obviously get other rulers for whatever design you want. So that's on the website till Tuesday with 10% off. So that gets everything that you need to get you started if you've never done it before. So I just wanted to show you that quickly, and that's it. That's what I've got.
Perfect. Let me just grab John and have a turn my camera on this time. Yes, I
thought I had more time.
Oh, you. I thought I had more time. Do you need
more time? You're very
Sorry,
quick.
Do you need some more time, my lovely?
Talk quietly amongst yourselves for 2 or 3 minutes.
2 to 3 minutes. I'll tell you what. Oh, okay, I'll go and have a. It's all right. Don't panic, John. Don't panic. Have you had an outfit change? If you hadn't had the outfit change, you would have been ready. It's fine. It's fine. Right, Vicky, I've come back to you. Let me go and grab your website, and I will show people exactly where they need to go to find all of the bits and pieces that you've got on the Secret Sons Club this week. And can you just remind me of the code before we head over there?
Yeah, it's
Secret 3. Okay, let me just go and have a quick look on the web. So this is Vicky's site. Again, I was going to call you Michelle. I think it's because we had Michelle on the last one and I maybe haven't changed the name on the camera. No, I think it's because Michelle was on the last one. I didn't change the name on the cameras. It was my fault. So this is the Parrs website. So there's loads of videos and tutorials on here, so do have a look at those as well. It will take you through all of those questions that we've been kind of, reading out for you today about which kind of foot you need and all of the other kind of queries. But I believe there's videos for every single ruler. Now, the things that, I nearly said Michelle again there, that Vicky has shown you today are in the Secret Sewing Club section, which you find right across the top there. And remember, that code of Secret 3 will get you 10% off of any of the bundles that are within this section. So you've got the free motion ruler foot itself, that slip mat that's really, really handy when you're doing this type of work, the Super Starter bundle, which just gone through and taken you through the rulers and the bits and pieces that are in there, the Parrs pockets to store the rulers if you already have them, the coverall Meander, Shirley's special, and the modern graduated motif, and those buttons as well, so you can do yourself either a practice or a little refresher on those rulers. Have I missed anything out, Vicky? Perfect. John, are you ready?
I cut out my piece of fabric and I'll talk about the pattern and what I'm doing.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, we can stay all three together if that's all right, or we can just pass it to you. You what?
We're ready-ish. Does that count?
Yeah, that's close enough. I mean, that's all we expect on a secret sewing is ready-ish.
Hello, everyone. So we are now making this. I love this. I've called it Funky Cushion. I think it is really fun. It's FPP, and you can see I have pulled my papers out for the first time in history, but you're going to make 4 blocks. Now, I just love this design, and it is so simple. You get your pattern. Now, what I've been doing while we've been waiting, you can see I have cut all of my pieces of fabric here from the fabric bundle that you're getting. I've cut the corner off, and I always, every single FPP project I have ever done, I always sew this on here. And I find it so important because, especially when you've got it that you've got A1, A2, A3, A1 is jade, A2 is this, and you're like, what is he on about? At least you can then refer to the color here and you know exactly which one you are doing. So just like I've done it now, A1 is teal. So I know that my teal, when you go and look at your teal, you're looking for that color there. And that is that color there. That is my teal. So the great thing is you've then got your fabric, you've already found it, you've cut a corner off the ends, and you're now just going to cut the piece out that you need in order to sew it together. Now, I don't want you to think that I'm unprofessional. I did cut these all out. They were in a pile. And of course, in our wonderful movements of the day, they have now gone for a little walk. I'm not sure where to. I hope they're having fun, but it means that I haven't got the pieces of paper, so I'm scrambling to get them all together. So thank you for your patience.
Again,
so we're putting
I think
teal and we're putting jail together.
I blame the outfit change.
Yep. It's got to be done.
Has it though?
I had 3 shirts. But it's definitely not the outfit change because they were in a pile on the desk, but now they've disappeared. And I'm just looking.
Well, that's because we can't see the state of the desk. I think, apart from Vicky's, who's lovely and clear, I think all of our crafter vlogging desks are identical. A massive wires and technology, and a big pile of fabric, and the mystery of where everything is in between.
The great thing is, we're all friends here. Everybody thinks it's going to be helpful, and it'll be fun.
Yeah, there's no judgment. We're just saying it's the same across the board. Your quilt's lighting up beautifully now, by the way. Your lighting just seems to have changed from outside, and
hasn't it? It's really lovely. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how to do this project. Now, I am not able to teach you foundation paper piecing on this demo. Foundation paper piecing takes a lot of time. We do beginner classes. They are really good fun, but it's one of those things that you have to do. When you do it, you've got to practice, you've got to keep at it, you've got to keep going. And when you are going to learn it, you need to dedicate about 15 minutes a day in order to do the project. So please, if you are going to learn foundation paper piecing, you will love it, but you do need to make sure that you practice every single day for about a month when you're doing it. It's the only way to get through it.
Nikki says,
a really great project.
Nikki says, check in the safe place, in inverted commas.
Exactly.
You know, the safe place that you've put things.
Exactly. Now, when you do the FPP, you do need to make sure that you take your stitch length down considerably so that when you do pull your papers out, it's a lot easier to pull your papers out. And you always cut your pieces of fabric enormously bigger than you think you need, because when you're turning it and you're getting it around corners and stuff like that, it's really important to make sure you've got a lot of fabric, because the last thing you want to be doing halfway through your block is unpicking and redoing. And I'm just taking it to my iron now to give it a good old press. And it's important to remember you're pressing, not ironing. I have maintained an air of mystique in my household where I've convinced people that I don't know how to iron, I can only press. I don't know how successful I can be when I carry on doing this. I'm just writing the names of my fabrics on here. So it's sky, lime, pink, bright blue, and grey. I always write my name of the fabrics on here on the back. It just makes my life that little bit easier when I'm trying to put this all together. And as you can see, I rough cut my fabric with a pair of scissors. As long as it's bigger than the space I need, I'm happy with that.
I've got a message from Celia. She says that her husband loves doing foundation paper piecing. He's making his fourth... Is that Celia Batson? Yes, making his 4th quilt using this method.
Paul is so talented on FPP. I'm so glad that we have A, another male quilter, and B, that he is... so I'm hoping somebody I can call a friend, and he is able to do all this FPP. He is really good. It's nice to see new quilters when they come back onto the scene.
It's one of those, FPP is one of those things that you either love it or you hate it.
But my favourite is when he comes to the shop. My favourite is when Paul comes to the shop with Celia. His bag is as exciting as her bag is. It's wonderful.
And I think one of the things that I think is the most annoying bit, FPP is brilliant because the precision you can get on things is phenomenal. However, the picking the paper out at the end.
Oh, it's horrible.
Well, yes, that's not the fun bit. It's the least fun of the bits.
Shall I show you an overachiever's FPP?
Go on then.
Right, I will be back momentarily. Don't go away.
Okay. But you've gone away though. Oh, what do? I will just switch it to me. There you go. Sorry, John's gone to go and get another quilt because we were discussing FPP and he's got a snazzy one. Oh, hang on, he's back in the room. Let me go and grab him. He's back. Whew.
Now these are both my design, but to give you an idea of the overachieverness of it.
That's tiny.
Isn't it?
My God. What?
Now that one's good.
It's the size of the pieces. They're so tiny.
Isn't that mental?
You must
However,
have the patience of a saint.
ma pièce de résistance.
So tiny. Are these going to festival in the mini quilt
La
section?
la 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 la.
Oh, they might be. Are these some of the quilts?
We're not talking about the. Look
Is that how you can make 14? Because they're all this big.
Do you know how long these take?
I
compared
know.
to a big quilt. I wish it was that simple.
I know.
But yes, no, I love miniature quilts. They're really good fun.
And I think, although yes, it may take almost as much time, kind of not as daunting, because it will all fit on a sewing machine. Because I think that's, unless like you've got a long arm and you can have it done professionally, then I think sometimes the actual quilting bit of it is tough going on a domestic size sewing machine. Oh, are you just quiet, John, or have you gone?
So we've now sewn on number 5, which is the line. And the great thing about this is as you stitch it on, it slowly takes shape, which you're still not quite sure what it's going to look like when it's finished. I'm just going to flatten that with my gorgeous little iron. Exactly. It's once you trim it that it looks good. Yes, I think especially when you're designing them for other people, it's very daunting. I use a very old Janome 1600, and I did a little service on her before coming on and replaced the needle and everything, and it is the best machine on the planet. But unfortunately, it went out of service about 10 years ago, I think. So it's one of those old school machines that you've got to take into the garden and shoot to get rid of. It's gorgeous. I love it.
This isn't your update. This is an update from Parrs, because they've had so many requests for their teddy bear ruler. They've now added it in to the Secret Sewing Club page.
Oh,
so
good.
You can still get a 10% off on that. So your first quilt that you showed us with the big kind of open spaces, that be, especially if you're doing like maybe a smaller version of it for like a nursery quilt or something like that. That'd be perfect for that.
Well, I hope so.
So they can
No one has bought
combine.
anything yet. No one bought anything yet, so I'm hopeful.
I'm sure they'll all filter through. I think they're waiting for the end, because I think we showed so much that was on your website that it will take people about a week to get through it. So let me just.
I hope so.
Yes, there is. And can you just remind us of the code as well? Secret. Just secret, singular, no S. I will write that in the comments on Facebook so people can see it again.
Thank you. I know what will happen is the minute I come off air, I will find a little bag of everything prepped, ready and cut out. So apologies, it's taking a little longer today than it should. Only 2 seams to go now.
I mean, this is what's quite nice to see. This is like a kind of, you know, even if you haven't got anything prepped, you haven't got anything cut out, it's kind of real-time quilting just to show you that it does not take that long to come out with something that looks great.
That's what I love doing with my YouTube videos as well, is trying to make the quilt from beginning to end live so people aren't quite as daunted by it. Because the block quilt, the tic-tac-toe quilts, I'm not joking when I say I did the whole quilt in 1 hour and 40 minutes. It is such an easy quilt to do, and it's so simple. I think people get daunted when there's a big quilt, but it comes together so quickly and so easily. That's what I love being able to show people. That's how it comes together. And there's only 1 seam left, which is the grey. I'm just going to cut the grey quickly. What's your week looking like, Hayley? You got
Sorry, I was miles away there because I was I was putting your discount code up.
Oh, you're so kind.
It's all right.
What's your week looking like? You got anything exciting on other than going off to see Batman's Mobile?
Okay, so we've got Batmobile on Monday, and then on Wednesday night we are driving Matt's son and friend to London to go and start queuing at God knows what time in the morning for the Billie Eilish concert, which they have tickets for, but because they're kind of floor tickets and they want to be right at the very front, they're going to go and queue from about 4 o'clock in the morning, which means that then Matt and I are just milling about in London for the day. So we went to
Liberty. Have you seen the new Liberty exhibition?
I haven't. We might go and call in there actually, because I want to see all the fat eighths that we cut. We cut about 12,000 fat eighths for them.
Well, with the Liberty exhibition that's on, Cote Brasserie and Francamanca around the corner are really good places to go for your lunch.
Oh, splendid.
Not that I've frequented such places.
We've kind of got all day to kill in London, so I'm sure we'll go and find something to do.
I have become an enormous convert of Francamanca. So there's a really good one on Bruick Street. It's only 2 blocks away from Liberty if you do go.
Okay, splendid. What else are we doing? Then, well, I don't think we've got anything for the weekend. So yeah, little London adventure. Nikki is asking how long have they got to use the code?
I'll leave it on till Wednesday.
Till Wednesday. Okay, so you've got a few days. That was mega quick.
So you're going to make 4 of those blocks there. I've realised whilst making this, I think I have changed the colour. I'm just double checking. Nope, I haven't. I panicked. Oh, I have.
Well,
I used a different way round, so I switched this colour with that colour because I couldn't quite figure out why that wasn't the same. So I think you can see
I see. It's the blue with it's kind of the blue, the jade, and the light kind of tealy one, isn't it?
Yep. So you're going to make 4 of these, and there's enough fabric in there to make the entire front. I can't remember how much it is on the website, but don't forget it's 25% off with the code of secret.
Right, let me just go and find it, and I will show everybody where it is. What's that one called? Funky Cushion. Let me have a look. My keyboard's miles away, so my typing's really slow. It's like my dad's typing 1 finger at a time today. Right, I've got it up here. Just and I know people will ask, so I will ask you the question before we go and have a look at it. What fabric have you used on it? Because I know we will get asked that.
So it's a combination of the grunge for Moda, but I've used mainly the dimples from Macawa and the linen textures from Macawa.
Okay, I shall go and do a quick... Okay, so by the looks of it, on the blue here is the Macawa dimples. On the lighter grey one that's just there, that looks like the Moda grunge. What was the third one that you said? Oh, sorry, that could be the linen texture one. I think it's all dimples and linen texture in that one. I'll zoom it back out. Yeah, it looks mainly like the dimples in that one. But that is the Funky Cushion kit. That is everything that you need to make the cushion. Is there enough fabric to swap over the colours if you want to, apart from, I'm guessing, the blue that's in the border? Is there enough fabric to swap the colours around?
Colours to what over the...
Yes.
Yes. The only one you can't do is the one that's this one, which is the border. So this one is going to be the border, but you can add your own border to it if you want to. The border doesn't need to be that thick. You can add what you like. There is a huge amount of fabric in there.
Excellent, excellent. Let me go and grab Vicky, and we will all jump back together. There you go. Right. Oh, I've got a big black hole. Hang on a second. That one. There we go. Fixed it. It's because the black hole is usually where the fourth person is, but we had to move people around. Very complicated. So, well, I'm guessing both of you are doing the big festival.
I will be attending. I will never work festival because you've got to have time to enjoy it.
Well, I'm going down for a wander on probably the Saturday because the Secret Sewing Club, we were going to do it as a wander from the festival on the Sunday, but at that time, 2 till 5, everybody's packing up. You can't get near anybody, so we're going to do it on the Saturday when it's festival. So hopefully we'll get round. Are you there on Saturday, John?
I'm there the whole week. I arrive on the Sunday before festival and I leave the Monday after festival because I'm part of the hanging team.
Wow. Okay. So yes, I'm sure we'll bump into you down there. We're doing
dinner on Saturday night.
You what?
I only see you once a year. We're going to go for dinner or do something. We've got to.
It'll have to be a Friday night.
Don't mind. We will make plans.
We'll make it work. Vicky.
Yes.
Oh, bing bong. Are you also going to be at festival?
Yes. Yeah, we'll be there.
Splendid.
Doing all 4 days.
All 4 days. Are you selling there?
Yeah, we got stands.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, so yes, if you are going down to Festival of Quilts in Birmingham, then yes, you will. I'm sure you'll. Yes, go and see it and go and show you.
Demoing.
Oh, perfect! Live demos at the show. You'll be able to see all of them, and if there's any that you like, you'll be able to see them there. And also, I notice, which we did mention while we were chatting to John, that you've added the bear into the Secret Sewing Club section.
Yes,
because there was a lot of people asking about it. So and we were just saying it's kind of perfect for the quilt that John first showed, where it's got the big blocks, because you've got the space to kind of make the quilting tell some of the story. Right, I am quickly just going to show that ruler, so I just had to go and find it first. Right, okay, let me just, so I've gone onto the Parrs website. I'm in the Secret Sewing Club section, and that is the one there. And if I scroll down, you can see there's 3 different rulers there that come in the one set. And how big is the bear that makes? Sorry.
Well, it's the size of a
pressure.
ruler. So that's height of it. So how?
Pressure.
What do you reckon the ruler is? About 8 inches.
Well, okay, that's big enough. It's kind of, you kind of want it big enough to so you know what it is. Because if it's
about 7.
About 7, perfect. And John, do you have anything else that you need to share with us? Because I know we've got your code as well. So the code for Parrs is secret3. The code, and that's 10% off. The code for John's website is just secret, no extra bits. And that's 25% off anything that's within the Secret Sewing Club category. And he's put everything on that he's ever brought to a Secret Sewing Club. So there's absolutely loads on there. Do go and have a look. It will take you a while though. It will take you a while. But thank you everybody for joining me. It's a little bit of a shorter one today because there's 2 instead of 3. But that is okay. We don't mind a shorter one. A little bit of an early dart. I can go and get sorted before I have to set John away on the craft store. So yes, little bit of a gap in between, which is perfect. But do go and visit these guys' websites. There's loads of exciting stuff on there. I do have a little shop on there because it really does help that you guys support this and support what we do. So a goodbye.